All right, guys, Dad Dash here, and I was just running an errand, so I thought I'd come on live and do some talking here about this particular subject that was on my mind, and I think it's a pertinent topic that we should discuss. So, obviously, this is an unplanned live, so this will be something that you can catch on a rewatch, or if you happen to see it, welcome. Thanks for watching. Big topic right now: no tip, no trip versus Top Dasher. What is, should it die? Should it go? What's the evolution of no tip, no trip? Speaking from a year and a half of experience, my belief is that no tip, no trip needs to be amended. Okay? It's still valid. It should be no trip if there's no value in the order. Because the deal is this: and I have had this happen. If you had an offer of $20 to go 3 miles, and you found out that $20 was no tip, would you take it? I would. I think anybody would. Why would you not? I actually had that scenario happen a few months back in the Charlestown market with Uber Eats. Uber Eats is paying ridiculous amounts of money because they had just freshly entered the Charlestown market, or they were trying to build that market out. It's gone down and degraded significantly. But when I had those experiences happen, I realized, it doesn't really matter, because when I looked at it, the customer had paid a significant amount of money to Uber, chosen not to tip. Uber passed that on to me, and I saw a 3 mile $20 order for McDonald's and said, heck yeah, I'll take that order. Went to the McDonald's, grabbed the order, delivered it, and had like a $60-some order value. It was a really good order. And it got me thinking that, it really doesn't matter where the money comes from. And that's where the whole concept, as I worked gig work, of order value came from, is that it's really about the value of the order. It is not necessarily about the tip or the base pay, because reality is, if the apps said, listen, you're asking a driver to drive X amount of miles, go to a restaurant that has X amount of wait time and X amount of, difficulty, and you're going to pay $10. And that's what you're going to pay. And that's going to go directly to the driver, right? And that's the way that the apps could definitely handle it, is just saying, you're paying a fee for this service. This is the amount that goes directly to the driver. And of course, you can also show your appreciation with an additional gratuity or whatever it is you want. As of right now, DoorDash doesn't show that. I know Grubhub doesn't show them that. And Uber Eats does, in fact, have the extra surge money and extra priority, but they do let them know this gets passed on to the customer, and is paid directly to the driver. And they let them know that amount for, like, if you want priority and stuff like that. Sometimes it's as much as $7. So from the customer's perspective, they may feel like, hey, that's tip money that's coming in. It's like an additional tip, because they're paying for the order plus adding an additional $7 for the extra priority that Uber's telling them will get the order to us. But in reality, is all the money that's coming to us is just money that's coming to us. So if you found out, let's just say, right? Let's say DoorDash said $10 4 miles. Would you take that order? And if you found out that, that customer was paying DoorDash $10 for you to deliver that order, but wasn't including a tip, would you take that order? Would it matter? $10, 4 miles, the restaurant where it's going to be ready. Boom. Would you? I know I would. And I would know that if I could get that order done within 20 minutes, it's a $30 hour for me. It's a $30 order value. That's a strong order. I would know that if it took me 15 minutes, I'd have about a $26.50 order value. I know that's a really strong order. Okay? So the thing is that order value in and of itself is the only thing that really matters. Not no tip, no trip. Not Top Dasher in essence. But if Top Dasher gets you better value, go for it. But you have to be evaluating the value of these orders. And if that in your market gets you better value and helps you maintain better order value and helps you better value out of your orders, which thereby order value will because the components of order value, I'm focusing on an order value-based strategy, which I've tried to get across to people. They come back and talk to me about all the different components that are within it. But if you have a strong order value, right, which means you got this order to the customer quickly and got paid a fair amount of money, that on a by-minute basis is going to lead to a good, strong hourly amount, everything else falls in behind that, because you can't get the order there in a reasonable amount of time to make that order value come out to whatever it is you're shooting for, $20, $25, $30, without knowing that you can't have a 30 or 40 minute drive on a $6 order, okay, and get good value. So that's not going to meet your qualifications. You're going to throw that away. But if you have a $6 2-mile order that you can get delivered within 12 minutes from acceptance pickup to delivery, then you know and understand that that's going to be a valuable enough order that warrants your time. Whether the customer's tip for that order, whether it's a $2 tip or a $4 tip or a $2 tip or a $1 tip or maybe even a no tip. It really doesn't matter in the end because you got value out of that order. And that's the approach that all of you should have. Understand the value that you want to put on your time, and then find the orders that meet that value. And as long as you've gotten the value you wanted out of it, who cares? I mean, are you really going to tell me that if you had a $30 order value, an order that would get you a $30 order value, and you found out that for whatever reason or however they were doing it, or they were doing promos or whatever, that there was no tip on it, that you're going to leave that on the curb? Doesn't really matter, because the money's still coming from the customer. It's just coming in as fees, which the app is sharing with you, which is how it should be in the first place. And then the gratuity could be given to you in addition. So no tip, no trip should have an asterisk next to it. The concept is sound, but it should be changed to, instead of no tip, no trip, no value, no trip. If you don't offer me an order that has enough value to warrant my time, no trip. And that's going to be put the onus on where it should be, between the customer and DoorDash. From the customer perspective, they need to make sure that they're paying enough money to warrant exactly what's going on. And if the apps aren't going to collect that from them, they add it in or kick it in. And DoorDash needs to make sure that or whoever the app is, that they're collecting enough money and sharing enough of that money with the driver to make the order valuable enough. Because the reality is as it stands now, DoorDash marks up the prices on their app. I know for certain they do that. I've actually compared it. Buffalo Wild Wings is one great example. And then they give you a fee, a 20% fee, whether they're Dash Pass or not, gets marked up. And then if they're not Dash Pass, they get a delivery fee. And then, so by the time the consumer's getting out the door, you're talking 30%, probably 30% markup on that order. And then they're turning around and saying, okay, tip this Dasher. Well, how much of that should be going to the Dasher? If they split 15% of the order value cost to us, then that takes, what the customer is paying, by the way. I mean, how much do you want to gouge them for? And some people say, well, it's a premium service. And it is. I agree. Be ready to pay. You're asking somebody to use their vehicle, use their time, to deliver food to you. You need to make sure that you're willing to pay fair market value to that individual that is going to be doing that delivery. Anyways, guys, I'm where I stop. I wanted to just go over that with you. If you agree with this, let me know in the comments. If you like this video, hit like. Share this video, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs. I'd love any help that you can provide. And guys, I'll be talking to you soon. Stay safe, stay profitable, and I'll talk to you soon.